If you're constantly attracting price-sensitive clients, it's not bad luck. Right now, your firm might be doing solid work. You're closing deals, delivering good results, but still dealing with prospects who question your fees, push back on scope, or treat your service like it's just another vendor. And that is not just frustrating, it is also very expensive. Because while you're spending time justifying your pricing, the firm's positioned as the obvious choice. They are having completely different conversations. No negotiation, no friction, just alignment. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to stop attracting the wrong clients, and more importantly, how to reposition your message so the right ones come in already pre-sold on your value. Now, this isn't theory. I've worked at companies like Facebook and WhatsApp, and later built a startup that produced over 11,000 websites across the US. And at that scale, after building so many websites, you start seeing very clear patterns: what attracts high-value clients and what quietly repels them. So if you are a law firm owner, a consultant, an architect, an interior designer, or a B2B business owner, and you're tired of competing on price, this is going to matter. Because the problem isn't your service, it's what the market thinks your service is worth. And that comes down to one thing: what you communicate. Let me explain. Because the problem isn't your service, it's what the market thinks your service is worth. And that comes down to one thing: what you communicate. Let me explain. Most firms that struggle with low-quality leads are making the same mistakes. They are using generic messaging, saying things like high-quality service, results-driven, trusted partner. In paper, it sounds good, but it makes you invisible. Because when everyone says the same thing, the only variable left for the client is to compare on price. And the moment you enter a price comparison, you've already lost all your positioning. Let me make this even more real. Imagine for a second that you are a business consultant. A client is looking for help with a high-stake acquisition deal. They are deciding between two firms, yours and McKinsey. Now, imagine your proposal is 10 times cheaper. Logically, you'd think that that makes you the obvious choice. But in reality, they might still choose McKinsey. Why? Because when the stakes are so high, people don't optimize for the cheapest option. They optimize for the safest option. McKinsey's positioning tells the client, we've done this before at scale with companies like yours, so you can trust this decision. So even if you are just as skilled, you lose. Not because of your abilities, not your skill, but because of perception. And in a second, I'll show you the exact shift that makes clients see you as a safe option without having to lower your price. Let me give you another example. Imagine that you are a client now, that you need a lawyer, and you meet two of them. The first one invites you to a modern office in New York, has a sharp suit, clear communication, everything feels structured, intentional, and premium. The other meets you at a Starbucks, slightly sloppy suit, oversized pants, and feels a bit disorganized. Both of them could be incredible lawyers, top of their field. They went to the same school, they were sitting next to each other at school, but who are you going to be trusting with something so important? Exactly. And that's how your clients are judging you too. Not on what you do or how you do it, but how it makes them feel to choose you. And that is positioning. So if your messaging is generic, unclear, or looks like everyone else, you are the Starbucks lawyer in that scenario. And even if you are really good at what you do. Now, here's where this becomes more practical. Most professionals try to fix this by tweaking their offer or adjusting pricing, but that is not where the real leverage is. And in a moment, I'll break down a simple 3-part shift that fixes this permanently. Because the best firms don't win on the call. They win before the call ever happens. And this is where content becomes a massive advantage, especially in YouTube. Very few professionals in industries like law, consulting, architecture, or B2B service are actually creating content consistently on YouTube, which means the ones who do, they stand out immediately. And there's one specific reason why this works so well that most people completely miss. Think about it. A potential client watches 3 or 4 of your videos, 10 minutes each. They hear how you think, how you break down problems, your experience, your case studies, how you make decisions. And by the time they reach out, They already spent almost an hour listening to you, and they feel like they already know how you operate. Now, compared to someone with no content, the same skill level, the same service, even the same pricing, but zero context. Who do you think they would trust more? The person that they spent almost an hour listening to, or the one who they are just meeting for the first time? And that's why content is not about posting stuff. It's about pre-selling. It's about compressing the sales cycle. It's about filtering. Because content, when done right, it does three things really well. It attracts the right people. It educates them on your value, and it also repels the wrong ones. And here's the part where most people miss. The goal is not to get more people interested. It's not about becoming or going viral. It's to make the wrong people lose interest. For example, if your content clearly talks about high-level problems, strategic decisions about, this type of architecture or house that you build, low-budget clients won't even reach out. They will disqualify themselves. And that is a win, because now every conversation that you have is with someone who is already seeing you as a serious option. And this is how you stop chasing and you start selecting clients. So let's break down that three-part shift. The first one is that you need to be specific about what you do. Instead of saying what you do, you define who you do it for and the exact problem you solve at a high level. For example, you don't say, we build websites. You say, we help multi-location law firms increase case volume without increasing ad spend. You see how one is a service and the other is a position in the market. Second, you stop selling effort and you start selling outcomes or perspective. Your clients are not paying for how hard you work. They are paying for how you think. The more your content communicates how you see problems, how you make decisions, how you approach trade-offs, the more you position yourself as an authority, not a vendor. And third, pre-handle objections through your content. If every sales call you are explaining why your fee makes sense, your content is failing. Your messaging should already be setting expectations, framing your value, and disqualifying the bad fits. So by the time someone gets on a call with you, they're not asking, hey, why are you so expensive? They are asking, how do we start? How can we get started, right? So if we bring all of this together, if your message is generic, you start attracting generic clients. If your positioning is unclear, you will get compared on price. And if your content doesn't communicate how you think, you say a commodity. But when you shift your positioning, when you become specific, when you show your perspective, the way you think, when you let people experience how you think before they ever talk to you, everything changes. You start attracting better clients, higher fees, shorter sales cycles, and less friction. And most importantly, you gain more control over who you work with. So if you're stuck dealing with low quality leads, you don't ask, how can I get more of them? You are just going to get more low quality leads. You need to ask, what am I communicating that is attracting them in the first place? Because you don't need more leads. You just need better ones.